Greetings from the Alexandrina Council. Let's meet the driving force behind the Alexandrina community. Chief Executive Officer, Andrew MacDonald. Mayor, Keith Parks. Deputy Mayor, Councillor, Michael Scott. West Ward, Councillor Bill Coomans. Councillor Michael Scott. North Ward, Councillor Craig Maidment. Councillor Sue Miller. Councillor Christy Thornton. South Ward, Councillor Margaret Gardner. Councillor Millie Livingston. And finally, Councillor Peter Oliver.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our special council meeting of the 29th of June 2026. We would like to advise you that an audio recording of this meeting will be made for minute-taking purposes and will last the length of the open meeting. The audio file will be available on the council's website. And we do have our friends here again, as usual, from South Coast Television, who make a lovely video, and that link comes and you can watch it as a YouTube. It's a great video. It is a public, council meeting is a public space. There's no expectation of privacy. Also, there is unlikely to be any legal protection or other privilege attached to any statements made in this meeting. If you could please place any phones or smart devices onto silent so that they do not cause any interruption to our proceedings. Especially like to welcome the members of the gallery for venturing out on such a lovely, warm, cosy winter's night. Good to see you here. And those unfamiliar with the venue, the toilets are directly through that way, straight through. So thank you. I'd like to welcome our elected members. There are no apologies. There is no leave of absence. We have in attendance our Chief Executive Officer, Andrew MacDonald, our General Manager Community, Stacey Bateson, our General Manager Infrastructure, Alan Harvey, General Manager Corporate, Tash Hunt, our Chief Financial Officer, Andrew Alderson, our Group Manager for Regional Development, Matt Atkinson, our Manager for Governance and Communication, Lachlan Miller, and our Minute Taker and Secretary, Tanya Cregan, and other staff who are here as required. If you're able, would you please stand for the local government prayer and acknowledgement of country. Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to grant Thy blessing upon the works of this council. Guide us in our deliberations for the advancement and the true welfare of the people of this district. The Alexandrina Council and its communities acknowledge the Narrabri, the Parramac and the Kaurna people as the traditional custodians of the lands and waters of our council district. So thank you. Just to remind council members, if you have a conflict of interest for the purposes of Chapter 5, Part 4, Division 1, Subdivision 4 of the Local Government Act of 1999, in a matter which will be before the council at this meeting, you're asked to disclose the interest to the council and provide full and accurate details of the relevant interest at the beginning of the meeting, and members are reminded they must also deal with the conflict of interest in accordance with the relevant provisions of Subdivision 4 at the time the item arises for considerations. So does anybody have to declare any conflicts? No? So we go to item 2, which is administration reports. 2.1 is the adoption of the annual community plan 2026-27 and the rate declaration for 2026-27. Andrew, is there anything to do with that report? No. So there's two recommendations, recommendation group A and recommendation group B. So we'll deal with recommendation group A first. So Councillor Maidment, you're moving that? You wish to speak to it? No. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Oliver? Discussion? No. Is there any discussion relating to recommendation group A? Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Worship. I just want to say thank you to the community who did respond. Fortunately, engagement is still very low. I do believe our consultation is heavily focused online, and I think we do need to maybe explore a little bit more about how we can reach those people who are not in the online space. It's the most significant tool that we have to engage with our community, to raise awareness of the complexities of the council budget and answer the question, what do I get for my rates? And for me, it's the go-to document throughout the year, and I hope that it's appreciated just how we got to this point. It hasn't been, there've been so many hours and workshops and discussions, and I think it's been very collaborative, and I appreciate the time and effort and the spirit in which this has all been done. So I don't want to not acknowledge the community and also the work that has been done. So thank you.
Is there any further discussion? If not, I will put the recommendation group A to you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried unanimously. So we go to recommendation group B, 1 to 11. Is there a mover for that? Councillor Miller? You wish to speak to it?
No, I'll close. Thank you, Worship.
Pardon? Oh, right. So as a seconder, Councillor Oliver. Do you wish to speak to it? So is there any discussion? Councillor Scott.
I just want to add to what Councillor Miller said. I think the preparation of this has been, I think it's been exhaustive, to be quite honest, and forensic, and it's not easy, and the result won't necessarily please everybody, but I think that everybody's done the best they can under the circumstances and looking at the long term. And so I'm, by comparison with what happened earlier in the time when I was in council, first joined, it's been infinitely better and very comprehensive, and I've been very appreciative of the work that's been done and the support that we've had. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Councillor Coomans.
Thanks, Mayor Parkes. Look, I do have some words to say about this. We've spent so much time on it, and I think it deserves some words about it during our decision on it. I guess I want to begin by again acknowledging the outstanding work of our CEO, the CFO, the general managers and staff. The effort that's gone into this community plan and long-term financial plan is exceptional. In my view, this is the first time we've seen a plan that genuinely reflects where our community stands today and where legislation expects us to be in 10 years. My sincere thanks to everyone who involved. I've spent a great deal of time considering these plans, or more simply the budget, and I can see strong reasons both to support and to challenge aspects of it. Personally, I prefer to focus on the next 4 years rather than 10. Many of us in this chamber today may not be here in the chamber in a decade, so the immediate future should really be of more importance to us. I listen closely to our community, in local shops, at meetings, through groups such as the Alexandrina Residents and Ratepayers Action Group, at the budget roadshows and through online feedback. Social media can be particularly harsh, sometimes crossing into personal territory. I was, however, disappointed by the low attendance at the roadshows, around 60 people across 4 sessions, with more council members and staff present than residents. But regardless of the format, I hear the community very clearly. Some people have focused on the positive feedback, others on the negative. But when we look back over many years, the themes are consistent in relation to rates, roads and rubbish, our fundamental being, and of course how they relate to the cost of living. I don't think these concerns change much, so the question in all of this is, can we do better? We note proudly that the recommended general rate rise is 4.5%, which is 0.4% below the March CPI. Yet we continue to use CPI, essentially a measure of household goods, rather than the local government price index, which has been lower for some time and was raised in the feedback. We also hear claims that our increase is below the average of other councils this year, but recent media commentary paints a mixed picture. Some councils are higher, but more and more are lower, and others have not yet finalised their decisions. We speak often about the 10-year long-term financial plan, which we are required to maintain. We encourage future councils to follow it through to surplus, yet we are told we cannot encourage them to consider asset sales to ease pressure on the ratepayers this particular year. I raised this at a recent information session. Keep the 10-year plan intact, but responsibly dispose of surplus properties over the next 12 months and use that to lower the rate increase this year. With the election now deferred, this council will remain in place during most of that period. Using realised funds to reduce this year's rate rise is not irresponsible. It is a practical response to a community under real cost of living pressures. This approach acknowledges that many residents, especially those on fixed incomes, are doing it tough. It offers genuine relief without compromising long-term financial stability. To me, this is a win-win. As funds are realised from sales, I want to see them as specifically brought to Council with clear recommendations. Council should then decide whether to reduce debt or invest in projects that deliver tangible community benefits. When we talk about rates, roads and rubbish, the fundamentals of local government, there are opportunities for improvement. In terms of rubbish, we could trial a hard waste collection in selected towns using private contractors, similar to the successful model I was involved in at Onkaparinga 20 years ago. We could also explore complementary organic waste collections. In terms of roads, we need a better system for managing potholes and continue advocating for Nankita Road to be recognised as a state responsibility. We are budgeting for verge works, which is great, and we should also consider the long-term cost benefits between road spray seals and asphalting. In terms of rates, the rate capping threshold has shifted from 12% to 15%. I believe we should get a better understanding of the impact this has on our community. Staffing is a significant cost. I cannot say whether we have too many staff or too few, or whether the roles and productivity are optimised. That is a CEO's responsibility. I am pleased to have comprehensive
You've
reviews
gone over time,
underway.
Councillor Coombs.
I've nearly finished.
Can you wrap it up, please?
I've nearly finished, yeah. Is underway, and I look forward to receiving its findings. Another important matter is the review of our rating system. It was scheduled for this term, but deferred, largely due to concern from some in the community who feared losing existing benefits. I will always support genuine primary producers, the real food producers, and not those who use classification as a financial loophole. With the council term extended, we must ensure this review is not delayed further. Almost finished. We should also consider whether a council-run business centre is the best model, or whether a private sector approach like Strathalbyn's offers better value. And our 10 community-owned halls face significant insurance costs. Perhaps business grants would be better directed towards supporting these vital community assets. Finally, after all the consultation and listening, it's important that we respond to our community in a way that clearly says, we heard you, and this is how your input shaped our decisions. With regret, but with respect for the work done and the need for stability, I will be supporting this budget as presented. Thank you.
Thank you. We do have regulations on time speaking, and it'd be appreciated if you observe them or ask for extra time, which the chamber can vote on, because if everybody goes over, we could be here till midnight and not get anywhere. But I know it's a very important matter we're talking about. So, you know, but I just think need to remember that. Is there any further discussion? Councillor Miller. You'll close the debate. Is anybody else? No, so you can. Yeah.
Thank you, Worship. I just want to congratulate staff on the readability of both the agenda item and the community plan. Council is a complex organisation with social, financial and environmental objectives which are not always in alignment with each other and challenge each other. And I'm really pleased that we'll distribute the summary of the annual business plan or community plan in with the rates notice. I just want to note just a couple of things. And our forecast operating deficit of $730,000 is a consolidated result. So if you take out SWIMS, which has a very healthy surplus, then we are, you know, it is concerning. And if I read this correctly, it means that 60% of our ratepayers are subsidising the other 40%, if I'm understanding this correctly. So I feel that our annual community plan and our long-term financial plan are perhaps just a little light on our biggest risk exposure and budget item, and that's our SWIMS. I think I don't think we should have to collect the Hills and Fleurieu Landscape Board regional landscape levy. We don't retain that revenue, and we certainly don't get to determine how it's spent. I think our asset sustainability ratio continues to concern me. We've run well under the percentage for many years, and we're still not hitting 100%. So I think we have to pay really close attention to that. I think the key message for me was reducing the rates below CPI, and this is on page 25 of the agenda. Reducing rates below CPI puts pressure on the long-term sustainability of our finances and our ability to maintain current service levels. I think that's a key thing we must keep in mind. We've had, we can't forget that we have a depreciation issue that hasn't gone away. We have not kept up with our asset management. I think this is a responsible budget. I think it does demonstrate that we are very highly aware of what's happening in our community. But in all honesty, it relies very much on everything going right and nothing going wrong. And we all know in council world that's not necessarily how things go. So I'm very pleased to support this budget, and I look forward to us holding to it. Thank you.
So that ends the discussion, so I'll put recommendation group B to you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried unanimously. Go to item 2.2, which is discretionary rebates. Andrew, is there anything to change on there? No. There's a recommendation there with 3 dot points. Is there a mover for that? Councillor Miller, speaking to it.
Just very briefly, I'm really appreciative that this is included when we adopt the annual community plan. I think there are some good news stories in here, but there's also, of course, these rules are all set by legislation, but our revenue is impacted by mandatory rebates to the tune of over $500,000. I think the community just needs to be aware of that, and the discretionary rebates that we do apply and who receives them. So I really appreciate this report being included at the same time that we're doing this. Thank you.
So we have a seconder. Councillor Maidment, sorry. Speak to it. Any discussion? Councillor Coomans.
I won't take 6 minutes this time. I've just got a question in relation to the discretionary rebates. Is this something that's reviewed from time to time? Looking at the list of the 50s and the 75s and the 100s, there's probably some information that maybe we should receive in terms of why, and maybe there's some review process that needs to be undertaken on all of those listed.
Council has a policy which allows people once every 3 years to actually go through the formal rebate application. We write to everyone when their rebate expires at the end of every 3 years. In the interim, our staff go through and review the Valuer General's information, local knowledge, and do just sort of catch-ups and make sure that circumstances do not change within that interim period. we're really conscious of the effort that people go through to actually fill in all the paperwork. With the discretionary rebates, we try and make sure that everything is harmonised between like organisations, but on the form it is actually what people, there's an element of, I guess, a request on the form where people can just ask for whatever value they think is appropriate given the criteria. But we end up trying to synergise that and looking at sort of revenue generation and other things that those organisations have. So it's reviewed every 3 years, but also internally annually as well.
Any further discussion, questions? Councillor Miller, do you wish to write a reply or anything?
Yes, just very briefly. I just think these aren't all of our discretionary rebates, are they? They are part of the 3-year cycle, or this is all of them?
Through the chair, this is all of them.
Things that are picked up in leases for those who don't pay rates. Not everyone's on here, as far as I could tell. Is this just the 50 and 75s?
My understanding is this is everybody who is currently receiving a discretionary rebate. I do believe we do give some, we through our leasing policy don't charge people rates. That is very different. These are people who are under Act applied and are receiving a discretionary rebate.
Thank you. That's a very important distinction. That was so. Yes, thank you. I think this is really good publicity for council and for our community to know.
That ends the discussion, so I'll put the recommendation 1 to 3 to you. All those in favour? Against? It's carried unanimously. Item is 2.3, which is the adoption of the long-term financial plan from 2026 to 36. Andrew, anything to add to that? No. So there's the recommendation A and B. I'll do recommendation group A first. Move, Councillor Scott. Speaking to it? Is there a seconder? Councillor Livingston. Is there any discussion? Councillor Miller.
Sorry, Your Worship. I just think this is such an important document. I just want to say that it is allowing us to continually fund fully all of our existing service levels and standards as they are. I love the connection between our community plan and the long-term financial plan and what we do annually. It helps us lift our eyes and keep focused on the future. And I really appreciate the A2040 strategic delivery plan, because I think that gives us a line of sight into the future. It's really valuable, and I just congratulate the staff again on pulling all those strategic documents together, and this long-term financial plan is our roadmap to the future, and I think it's a very, very important document for our community. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Right of reply?
Just very briefly, I think most of it's been said, but over my time in council, I think this has been the area that we've found it the hardest to hold the line, and on a number of occasions, not through our fault of us or anything that we've done, but things have caused us to have to amend that long-term plan. It's very easy to sit here and amend it, but the sting in the tail is several years out, and you find that you get smacked later on. And so I always think that this is the real challenge, is holding the line and being able to stick to it. And I just hope in this ever-changing world that we what the 10-year plan that we've cast tonight, we can stick to for as near to the 10 years as possible. It'll be a challenge, but it looks good from here, and we hope we can stick to it. Thank you.
Ends the discussion, so I'll put recommendation group A to you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried unanimously. So we go to recommendation group B. Is there a mover for that? Councillor Oliver? Wish to speak to it? No. Councillor Miller, do you second it? Is there any discussion? Yep.
The only comment that I'll add to my previous points is that I think this document also needs to be acknowledged for what it doesn't include. And currently, if I understand this correctly, it does not include any Horseshoe Bay wave modelling. And that's in the millions. So I think we just have to accept, as Councillor Scott said, things change, expectations change, and I think we do need to keep pressure on the federal government to look at the way they fund councils, especially regional councils and councils that have significant coastlines, and just the funding model for asset management and the sheer billions of dollars of assets that are under management by local government. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councillor Oliver, I think it's just important to recognise it's a living document. It is 10 years, and it's a living document that, with more effort, we've got plenty of effort from administration, more effort from the chamber over the next 10 years. There are things in there that can come out and further reduce and improve the benefit. And there'll be things that need to go in at some stage, but nothing should go into that plan without taking substantially more out. And that's where the challenge is for elected members, to stand firm and make sure that all the hard work's been done so far keeps on going into the future. But Councillor Oliver, do you wish to write a reply on that? So I'll put recommendation group B to you. All those in favour? Against? That's carried unanimously. That brings our meeting to a close. So I thank you very much for your attendance. I'd particularly like to thank the members of the gallery for your interest, and it's been ongoing interest, not just for one night. We really appreciate it, and the good manner in which you've engaged with us in this consultation. So thank you very much, and we look forward to working to achieve better results as the years progress. So thank you.
South Coast Television, your community, your voice.